Behind the Cape, first topic we got to discuss, Lucasfilm possibly being sold back to George Lucas.
A lot to unpack here. So this is a scoop that is coming from Cameron Pasha and his insider, which, I mean, they've certainly led us down the right direction on a lot of stuff that's been, well, I guess they haven't proved it right. I'll say at least circumstantially it seems to line up with what we're seeing. In terms of Indiana Jones, they've been pretty on the nose as to the comings and goings in that production. But what they are saying right now is that Bob Iger recently pulled together legal and Disney and had them start putting together sale proposals for Lucasfilm. And I guess the source is saying that the way that it was configured, it looked as though they were looking to sell to an individual, a person, and not an entity. Mm-hmm. Which, process of elimination, who the hell is going to buy this thing right now? Who even has the investment, right now to want to, put into Lucasfilm currently? The only individual, I would say, outside of, the obvious corporate entities that would want a piece of that. But people, just individuals who have a vast amount of wealth and would be looking to maybe spend that on, an emotional tie back to Star Wars, it would have to be Lucas. It would have to be Lucas. Some of the things that are complicating a potential sale to Lucas, if we're just thinking about it theoretically, Disney wants to buy Hulu. They have to buy Hulu. They have their catalog entwined in all of that. And to do that, they have to buy out Comcast. Well, I don't know if anybody's been seeing Disney content lately, but they don't have anything that's rolling in the bucks. Even the parks right now are suffering. They don't have a lot of cash flow. Mm-hmm. So the whole Lucasfilm thing would be an opportunity to help get some cash. But then you would have to make it attractive to George Lucas, obviously, because Lucasfilm is not even in the shape it was when they bought it. I don't know what the buyout is, with Comcast to get them out of their Hulu agreement, but it's not enough that I don't think they would clear it with this one deal selling Lucasfilm, especially because the value has diminished and you'd have to make it a little bit more attractive for an individual like Lucas, given the state of the franchise, the title.
He's one person.
And he's one individual, right? Another thing that's got them kind of by the short and curlies is all of these agreements that they have with all of their under companies, right? Disney is the umbrella, and then they have all of these subdivision companies that kind of exist underneath the Disney brand that have deals with Star Wars, right? Licensing, merchandising, rides in the parks, all of that stuff is contracted out. People are getting pieces of that. I think George himself is getting like $1 million a year for any new park attractions.
That's crazy.
So there's a lot of money going a lot of different ways with Star Wars, and it's a lot more complicated than just saying, hey, George, do you want it back? There's not enough right now for me to say that this is what's happening, because I feel like if this is if this what we were entertaining, if we were any really sizable steps towards this actually happening, then all of this shit that we be hearing about the Acolyte and Rogue Squadron and the Rey movie and Dave Filoni's none of that shit would be happening. That shit would have got shut down. They wouldn't have been allowed, because solidifying the sequel trilogy is not something that's attractive to a new buyer, right? If you're telling me you're needing to unload Lucasfilm like it's a failed project for you, or I'm sure they would try to swing it as, it's not a viable property anymore. It's a dead property. And so better for us to unload it so that Disney can survive and become better for unloading dead weight. I'm sure that's how they would frame it. Okay, well, if that's the case, what the hell do you want me to do with it? What do you want me to buy it for? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's devalued.
Yeah, whoever would be buying it would be buying, again, dead weight. Can't go anywhere supposedly with it. Even though Lucas, being that he is the start of all of this, maybe could find something to do with it, you think?
Well, but if the sequel trilogy was the impetus for it falling, and you're going to put out all of this sequel trilogy stuff to solidify it. It's already bad. It's worse than what I gave you. Yeah. Why would that be attractive to anybody looking to purchase Lucasfilm? So I don't think maybe this discussion happened. Maybe the proposals were drawn, the numbers were ran. I don't know if they're taking serious steps to do it though, because number one, Kathleen Kennedy's still employed. Number two, everything that Disney is saying officially is that, you know, these projects are still happening. Acolyte and the such. I mean, hell, there's a rumor that Idris Elba is going to be the villain in the Rey movie. Yeah, sure, maybe. I don't think that movie's ever going to happen, but
yeah,
sure.
So I thought this was an interesting article that I read about. So the Lego scenes in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, they were done or animated by a 14-year-old black kid by the name of Preston Mutanga.
Shout out to Preston.
He also did like a Lego version of the trailer as well. Seems like he does like a lot of Lego-based YouTube videos. So he also has a YouTube channel, and he was able to get into the Spider-Verse movie.
That's dope.
At 14, did the whole thing by himself, apparently.
That's hard.
Black
Shout
excellence.
out to you, Preston. Congrats.
I thought that was fire. Captain America has a new name, and it is not World War Hulk.
Should be.
Put a ribbon on it, because it is
Fam,
Captain America.
I'm about to quit.
Captain America, Brave New World. Acting brand new out here. Yeah, man. Captain America. Sam Wilson.
I'm stressed out for two reasons. This new name for this movie fucking sucks.
It does.
And also, the people in my life will not stop quoting the Cardi B line from that song. And I want it to end.
I mean,
if I never hear that song again in my life, it will be too soon.
This is a brand new Captain America. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway,
what's the name again?
Huh?
What's the name again? Give it to me again.
Captain America,
Let me see
Brave
if I feel
New
it different.
World.
Say it. No, I'm sorry. I won't interrupt you. Introduce it like you're introducing the trailer or something. Let me see if I feel it.
Sam Wilson, a.k.a. the Falcon, becomes Captain America in the new Marvel film, Captain America, Brave New World.
It stinks. I don't like it.
In a world.
No. Still don't like it. Sounds like the Batman movie. Sounds like Brave and the Bold.
Yeah.
That's not. Batman's coming out after Superman.
Well,
Superman's going to be coming out closer to this movie. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
So then, I don't think they were trying to copy each other, but that just that's weird.
It's just not like what does that give you? Brave New World. What does it give you? Like what is that supposed to be about?
I don't know. New World Order at least sounded, tough, menacing, ominous. At
some level intriguing because you want to know what that's about.
Brave New World.
It's not a new world. We're still in the same MCU that we've been in. So
but now we've got Samus Cap, so it's new. The world is totally different.
There's nothing about this that's going to be that much different.
Yeah, man. Woo. And this movie is currently filming, and they have Harrison Ford in it, and it has to come out.
Yeah.
This
in 2024. Early 2024.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's struggling because all of the best things about it are supposed to be the supporting things, are supposed to be the things that are propping up the main character or adding to the intrigue around the main character, except the main character just pales in comparison to everything else that's happening around him. Mm-hmm. Harrison Ford as the president and Red Hawk, to the degree that there are humans around him, they are so much more powerful and resourceful than him. Sam can't even get along. Sam can't afford to keep his family's property.
And that was the last thing we seen from him.
They're CIA agents, heads of state, black ops, operations running off the grid, off the map, off the books. They're tough. You know? They're fearsome. They're to be feared. Mm-hmm. They have influence that stretches over multiple MCU projects. See, I'm over here trying to get some paper. Can you help a brother out? Just trying to keep the fishing boat going, y'all. Please help a brother out, please. I'm over here struggling in this suit. It's hard for a black man. But I stand up for America. Help me out, please. There's just nothing going on with this that's like, damn, I really can't wait to see Captain America struggle for his title. Thanks, Nate. Maybe that will be the final straw that'll,
get
your boy out of Wakanda, get him a first class ticket out of Wakanda.
Ew. Let's hope.
Maybe.
So apparently WWE superstar Seth Rollins is also supposed to be in Captain America.
I actually seen him. Yeah, I seen him in set photos. I don't know doing what. But
he is supposedly playing the role of Cobra.
Oh, from the Serpent Society.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. Okay. Hope Seth Rollins can act. And not like, well, no disrespect to the craft. Not like wrestling acting. I mean like John Cena Peacemaker.
Some people have, like you just mentioned, made that transition.
And some didn't.
Dave Bautista.
For every Dave Bautista, there's a Kevin Nash. Like he's such a bad actor that it's sometimes funny to watch him, like in Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Like he's he's not very good, but he's like,
I know I've seen him in a couple.
Kind of likable watching him do it, so you kind of enjoy it, kind of thing. You kind of like to enjoy someone fail.
Isn't John Wick?
Kevin Nash was?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was. He was also in The Punisher. He was the Russian in The Punisher.
Yeah.
The first one. That was a pretty good scene from Kevin Nash. He never spoke, didn't say a word, but there was a pretty good fight scene.
Stone Cold was in The Longest Yard too, wasn't he?
He was.
He actually felt...
He shit himself.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. Oh, and Goldberg was in it. I forgot about that too.
Yeah, they beefed up the wrestler work in Longest Yard. It was pretty dope, actually.
Yeah.
Great Khalid was in Longest Yard.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. The Big Show was really good in The Waterboy. Captain Insano.
Captain Insano. Oh, Captain Insano. Oh. you the champ, and I.
Now, granted, he was playing a wrestler, so like.
Right. Yeah. I mean, not.
But it was still funny. All right.
He also, last one before we get back on topic again, he was in Jingle All the Way. He played the gigantic Santa. I'm gonna deck your halls, bub.
I need to see that movie again.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad.
I remember the movie. I don't remember.
Goes to the warehouse to buy the Turbo Man doll. Ends up being fake. He calls him a bunch of phonies, and then doom. Here comes Diesel Santa. I'm gonna deck your halls, bub.
I'm watching that this Christmas.
You should watch it every Christmas. It's a must.
It is. No, I agree. I think I've not seen it for a couple Christmases.
That's a travesty.
I don't remember that. But anyway, yeah, no, Jingle All the Way is
classic.
Agreed. Last topic, fairly recent news. Tenoch Huerta.
Woo!
Going through it. Apparently SA'd a noted and accomplished saxophonist.
Allegedly. Because, again, as much as we want to be respectful with this situation, the accusations that were levied here against Tenoch specifically were,
at least so far,
so vague. Were so vague. And again, there could be multiple reasons as to why it's like that. But again, before we start getting into, what's going to happen to his career and all this other stuff, let's deal with it as it is. We haven't even gotten a complete and detailed accusation as to what it is he did. Yeah. There's a lot of labeling, a lot of name calling, and also, like, from what I read in these tweets, most of the venom and the vitriol towards this situation is going towards the management group, I guess, or the activist group that they all belong to, for protecting Tenoch Huerta, as opposed to what it is Tenoch Huerta did. Right?
And they're protecting him because he had that Marvel movie coming out.
Correct.
He had Black Panther.
So like there is so much context. There's literal details that are missing from all of this. We have no idea what's even being accused, other than he's being called a predator and a narcissist.
Yeah.
So while it feels serious, when you read what she said about him, you haven't told us what it is that happened. Mm-hmm. And again, plenty of reasons why that's not happening, but for you to be so public and to be so forceful to label him something, I'm looking to see what it is he is that for. You know what I mean? Like we dance with these labels and we dance with these names all the time without feeling the responsibility of having to substantiate them. Mm-hmm. And again, that is not to cast doubt on her claims or her accusations. It's just that I would like to hear an actual accusation and not a name called.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no.
But especially before I go forward moving on with judgment against him. Mm-hmm. How do you expect me to give a judgment against him
when you don't even know what
before
happened?
What action? For what action am I judging? You know?
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I do think, however, as we've seen with Jonathan Majors, that simply being accused of something in some cases can be enough for the public to demand your cancellation, unfortunately, which is trash.
And so they are in such a clusterfuck of a spot here, because for all those, no, they're moving away from Jonathan Majors. It's over. It's done. You know, his team dropped him. They're pretty much wiping it up. Mm-hmm. Y'all, this is like tip of the iceberg stuff. Okay, so Jonathan Majors, no question, done. He had a fight with his girlfriend. He put his hands on her. He choked her, allegedly. Right? Done. Wipe him up, clean him up, get him out of here. Mm-hmm. Homeboy Kamala Khan's dad is being accused of coming on to teenagers. Mm-hmm. To children, right? Tenoch Huerta is accused of sexual assault, which is by far the worst accusation out of all of these. Mm-hmm. How can you move forward summarily, like before my man has ever gotten his day in court, before any of this has actually been adjudicated, let alone everything that's happened in the aftermath since you've seemingly turned your back on him? If that's what's happened. But the fact that you were nope, gotta do it. Gotta stay above the board morally. Okay. So if getting into a fight with your girlfriend is too bad to even give the time to let it play out, allegedly. Mm-hmm. What about sexual assault?
Yeah.
What about sexual advances to a minor? What? Huh? What?
At least in my eyes. I don't know what it is in Disney's eyes.
You know what wraps it all up, though, Josh? And again, don't know if it's true or not. But again, there was a report that Disney is trying to get Johnny Depp. Yeah. Yes, folks. Johnny Depp, the very first individual that they summarily tossed to the side because of an accusation. Mm-hmm. And now they're having to eat crow because they have yet another dead franchise of Pirates of the Caribbean that they can't do anything with. And that if they make another film with, it has to be a doozy because they have nothing else. Nothing. Not a park, not a toy, not a TV show. Nothing. They have nothing. And so if they make a Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which the I can't think of his name right now, but the guy who was in charge of all of the live action remakes, they recently asked him about Pirates of the Caribbean and whether or not it was out of the question for Johnny Depp to come back, and he kind of played coy on it, like, no, it's not out of the question. So if they are trying to get Johnny Depp back, right, the guy that they first jumped off ship with, and really, in my estimation, were proven wrong. Mm-hmm. Right? He wins his defamation lawsuit against his ex-wife, and now you want him back. And now you're in so much of a worse position than you were when you dropped him.
Yeah.
Now you need him. You're actively doing that as you are actively shunning away Jonathan Majors, and you're continuing to have the situations pop up where if you're going to remain consistent with what you are presenting as your moral fiber, well, then they should be gone too, right?
Yeah.
How do y'all expect for them to kick Jonathan Majors to the curb over an accusation that was later walked back, by the way, over strangulation,
Mm-hmm.
and allow Tenoch Huerta to continue to work at Marvel over a sexual assault allegation? Again, I don't know anything about Tenoch's guilt or innocence.
Because we haven't heard the story yet.
I haven't even heard what's being accused. I haven't even heard what is actually being accused that he did.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if we're remaining consistent with the Disney model
Shouldn't matter.
of throwing guys in the box the minute that they are being accused of this kind of stuff, how long? The clock's already ticking on Tenoch, right? So he should either have to have this story killed or her recant her statement within a week, or we should be hearing about them recasting Namor.
You think it takes a week? I think it might be.
New Kukulkan.
Yikes. I think it should be shorter than a week.
Wasn't that long for Majors?
Yeah.
Sure as hell wasn't that long as soon as Amber Heard wrote that op-ed on Johnny Depp. Clock is ticking on your boy. It's already been clicking on Kamala Khan's daddy, except he's showing up in a movie. Mm-hmm. Stop trying to convince me that you have moral fiber, Disney. Stop. Just stop. Stop trying to convince me that you are virtuous. You are not. You are a company. You have a bottom line. Fiduciary responsibility. It keeps it very simple for me to understand in that way. And then I begin to judge whether or not I want to spend my money with you on that way. Yep. But if you're trying to convince me that you have morals, that you care about the ills in this world, and yet you have this sliding scale of rules and regulations that you live by, I can't do that with you. I can't play that game with you.
That sliding scale isn't based off of morality.
It's off of money.
It's based off money.
What's going to be more or less tenable? Are we going to keep the Latin guy who's got some, sexual assault going on? We definitely can't keep the black guy who has abuse, kind of over his head. On a white one? Oh, hell no. Get his black ass out of here right now. But the other guys we can kind of work with as long as we just keep them quiet into the background. Brown enough? Way too brown.
Yeah, they got that Family Guy Peter Griffin scale.
It's like silence. Get him the fuck out of here. Not to mention William Hurt was able to work there after his storied history with him and his ex-wife. But again, this is not for me to judge any of these individuals on their past, on their worst moments.
Sure. Because
I am not the one setting the standard on what is and what isn't acceptable in these matters. Is I am not setting the standard on whether or not these men could work with these type of histories on some people's side and straight up just talk on other side. Mm-hmm. Right? Unsubstantiated claims on the other side.
Yeah.
I am not setting the standard on whether or not they can keep working. Disney is. I am not telling you whether or not they are good or bad people because these things are going on. Disney is. Here's where I want to take this. Worst case scenario, doomsday scenario. Remind me of her name again. Rios?
Rios, yeah.
Miss Rios gives us a more detailed account of what happened with her and Tenoch, and it ends up going somewhere, and they end up going away from Tenoch as Kukulkan. Where the fuck do you go with Wakanda from here? Dead title character, and I mean dead. They killed him. They killed him without ever planning on bringing him back. I 1000% believe that based on how that movie played out. Failed replacement to said protagonist. Yeah. Movie made half the amount of money that the first one made. Mm-hmm. And there's absolutely no merchandising buzz and no excitement to see that character return. No hate on Letitia Wright. It just is what it is. And now, the mortal enemy you set up for future films and future Wakanda products by sacrificing One of the only mainstay characters from the original family that kicked this franchise off. You killed her. And now the villain who did that, who probably was going to be made to atone for that at some point, poof, into thin air. So, are we just gonna recast Namor? Is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna recast Namor?
That would be crazy
because he's too important to the Wakanda story to let go, huh? Is that going to be the language? That's what y'all going to tell me? Is that what y'all going to try to convince me of? You would have to recast him, right?
In order to love Black Panther, you have to
love Namor. We have to have him. So where are we going with this? Because if somebody walks out there and really tries to do the brain pretzel to try and tell me that recasting Namor is more important to Wakanda than recasting T'Challa, come on now. I could absolutely see someone saying that out of their mouth, but that would have to be the last thing they say on Marvel's behalf, right?
Yeah.
Come on now. You can say a lot of shit, but don't tell me that Namor is more important than T'Challa to Wakanda. Give us your thoughts on everything discussed here today on Behind the Cape. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come back next week, every week, for another Behind the Cape episode.
Absolutely. And make sure that you check out our previous video where we discussed a few things, including Black Panther, T'Challa being recast in Secret Wars, possibly. And then also make sure that you obviously subscribe. Like you said, we like to do this every week.